guys, so Lord here, back again with another review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Mattel Masterverse Battle Cat as he appeared in the Netflix series Masters of the Universe Revelation. That's right, I finally got myself a Battle Cat, and what a beaut this thing is. It is absolutely fantastic. I love this figure. Spoiler alert, by the way. But if we can just get him out of the way for a moment here. I'll just set him over here. You're probably wondering, what did I pay for this? Because it's been out for a while. And I always like to take a look at the packaging for this line. I don't think I did it for Wave 2 or the Faker, for that matter. But I did look at the packaging for Wave 1, all of Wave 1, so might as well follow suit with that. But you could see right here, with a low price of $12, your boy got himself a Battle Cat. So that is pretty awesome. Got the Masterverse logo down there. And on the back, you got some really cool artwork. Bio and stuff. It's so big I could barely fit it on screen. The bio's all the way up here. If you can pause and read that, do so at your own leisure. Should all be in there. But there you go. There's Battle Cat. I cannot believe this thing went down so cheap, let alone lasted long enough for me to get one. But I have to give a quick shout out to the local friend who shall not be named for privacy reasons for actually hooking this up. Wouldn't have got it without him, so very, very special thanks to him. I am super stoked to have this piece in my Revelation collection. It was the final piece, really. I needed to have everything from 2021 other than Wave 3, which I'm still waiting on my Skelegod from BBTS as of the time I'm recording this video. But hopefully we'll take a look at him. I want to take a look at him tomorrow, but I don't know if I'll have him in time for that. If not, I do have some more Wave 7 Origins to look at. I have the other two, so I guess we could knock that out, get that done. But I kind of wanted to spread the love a bit as far as that goes, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I just really love this figure, man. It's freaking massive. And I also shout out to the local friend who shall not be named for privacy reasons for beating the old Rona last year. He had quite a difficult time with that. Not only did he have that, he had kidney stones. So, yeesh, talk about double trouble, double whammy, whatever you want to call it. Shout out to him for fighting through that. It's nice to be talking to him again and whatnot, because we were a little worried here at Overlord Productions about him for a little while, so I figured I'd throw that in there. I haven't yet. I meant to, but better late than never, I suppose. But as far as this Battle Cat goes, this thing is gorgeous. They went to town on it. As far as the sculpt goes, not so much on the paint. It doesn't have like the shading and whatnot that the Classics one had, which of course everyone's gonna come at me and be all, the Classics is better. The Classics didn't cost $12. Okay? This was more expensive than the Classics, I think, was originally. I think the Classics one was only like, what, $35? This guy was $45, but he is bigger. Granted, he is made for a quote-unquote bigger line. But I got it for $12. You ain't gonna buy a Classics Battle Cat for anywhere near that price. So don't come at me with that whole Classics superiority complex crap. You don't have time for that here. He does have a removable helmet, though. Speaking of stuff we have time for. And he does have the eyes painted on there, which you could take or leave that, I guess. I don't think it's that bad. I think it sits on his head nice and tight. It's nice and snug. And then you get a Cringer face. Look at that Cringer face. Cringer actually talked in Revelation. He didn't in 2000X, I don't believe, but he does in Revelation, so that's nice. I thought he did the voice actor who was what's his name? Bill from King of the Hill. Bill Dotree did a pretty good job as Cringer here. So yeah, I thought that was cool. He's got a hinged jaw there. He kind of looks ferocious for a Cringer still, but that's besides the point. And then as far as the saddle goes, it's a little tricky to actually get on here. To kind of line up right. But we are going to take it off. Just so we can look at the articulation. Because look at this guy. He's loaded. He's got ball joint in the waist and the diaphragm. So he's got a lot going on. And then the saddle itself is a soft rubber material. Kind of wish it was hard plastic. Just because it would be nice if it form fit to his body. Kind of like clipped on and then these fastened on and kind of tightened it up a bit. But as it stands, it's nothing too bad. It's okay. It's effective. It's reasonable what they had to work with. So articulation on this monstrosity, this thing is loaded. It is freaking loaded. I counted, it's like 38 points. That's insane. Top that, MOTU Classics. But his head is on a double ball peg. And it does look up and down on that ball peg, but you do got to kind of grab it in a certain way. It does rotate as well. He's got the hinged jaw, as I said before. His neck is on a hinge. And it's just a hinge. It's like the Origins one. It doesn't have any side-to-side lean or rotation. And then his diaphragm here, it does have a bit of a ball going on in there. And unlike the Masterverse figures, like the basic figures and whatnot, it actually does rotate pretty well. Albeit it is a bit cumbersome to work with, but it's fine. Serviceable. It does seem like his back is a little split back here, but that's what the saddle's for, isn't it? Can have it like this too. Just kind of have him stand in attention a little bit. It's a little tricky to line the legs up, I will say that, but not too hard. Then he's got the same thing down here at the waist. This rotates, and it does kind of pivot. So you get a lot of movement out of this guy just in the torso. I mean, you get a lot of lean too in that. So that is pretty cool. I dig that. It will click sometimes. It's kind of scary, but I wouldn't worry about it. It seems fine. It's a pretty quality figure for the most part, so I don't think there's much to worry about there. The hips, or the front legs, move forward. They are on ball joints, so they do move out a little bit. Not a ton. I mean, they really kind of just swing out to the side, if anything. They don't really swing straight out. They kind of go at an angle, so that's whatever. He does have a single hinge in the elbow here, or the front knee, whatever you want to call it, which is kind of tight, so you might want to loosen that with some heat or something, but I didn't have to, so there's that. It does rotate there as well. He's got a hinge in the paw, which is a little loose in the hinge there, but the rest of them seem to be pretty tight on mine, so nothing too bad. It does have a rocker as well. Get him standing on all fours. Again, it's a little tricky to line everything up. Excuse me. But it's doable. And as far as his hind legs go, they do move out a little bit. This one on mine seems to be a bit misplaced. It doesn't seem to be seated in there all the way. So the outward movement is pretty much non-existent at most angles. I mean, you get more here. And then you rotate it down. It just kind of pushes itself out. So yeah, it's kind of useless, this back leg, as far as the out movement goes. But it cost me $12, so I'll let that slide. But I don't get it twisted. That should be in there some more. That, or it's just how it's made. I don't know. Seems kind of weird at the back leg. This one back leg is so hindered compared to the other one. But again, it could just be I need to heat something up, or there's just some schmutz or something in there that's keeping it from going out more than it could. The little back leg that could. But we'll concentrate on the one that does work. This one. And you don't get a ton of range anyways. It's not like it's a lot, but you can spread the legs out at least. I mean, if anything, it's already kind of spread. So, it's whatever. He stands. That's what's important. Of course, it can move forward and back. This one is tighter, I will say, as far as the forward and back goes. And then he does have a single hinge here. The hind leg, swells rotation. And then he has a hinge here at the kind of the top ankle joint there, as well as some more rotation. And then he has a hinge here with a rocker, and then the tail hinges up, hinges down, and rotates. And cracks my wrist, apparently. So there you go. There's Battle Cat. The Revelation Battle Cat. I think probably the best Battle Cat figure money can buy, especially at $12. You can't freaking beat this, man. Even with mine's one back leg being kind of whatever, I almost think it's supposed to be that way. Because it feels like it is seated in there all the way. It's just a little bit off. So I'm going to let that slide. I'm just going to say that's either just on this mine, or that's just how it is, and you can only move the one leg really well. Which kind of a design flaw, but it's still whatever. He stands up straight like this, which is how he's going to be on my shelf. Well, somewhere. I don't know if it's going to be a shelf per se. Really, my only gripe would have to be with this saddle. I wish it was hard plastic to kind of reinforce its kind of sitting on this thing's back, but it's fine. It's doable. It is a little bit finicky, but it's not too bad. Okay, I can't get this to go through here without moving that leg forward. Hold on. Bear with me here. I would like to actually achieve this on camera in a reasonable amount of time. There we go. Move that down now. There we go. But yeah, it's a pretty nice piece. It is a pretty nice piece. I really dig this guy. I don't know why more people didn't have this on their top 10 figures of the year list. I think that's blasphemy. This is like the perfect Battle Cat, just about. And you get Cringer on top of that, so you don't have to, well, you can. I mean, I guess, since he is $12, if you really wanted to have a Cringer to display separate, although I think he's a bit large to be a Cringer. That's just a personal opinion. What was I saying? I had a brain fart there. Either way. That's it. Even though he is kind of large for a Cringer, you can keep him as Battle Cat. You wouldn't really know, you know. So that's a minor or whatever thing. He's a bit big for a Cringer, but it's a Battle Cat. It's branded as such. It's freaking awesome. I will say the swivels are a little bit loosey-goosey, but once you get him planted, he stands fine. It's nothing too bad. I think I got the saddle on there pretty good. And then as far as his helmet goes, it does stay on there a little bit better than the Origins one does. And then as far as comparisons go, we are going to do the cuts and things, and I'll compare them to some other steeds and the Origins Battle Cat, speaking of which. But before we do that, we got to, of course, bring his brewski in here. His best bud. Good old He-Man. So I actually have a clear elastic around, and this is the clear elastic that went around Battle Cat's mask there, so it could stay on his face in the package. But if I take He-Man here and I rotate his legs up, bend the knee, it's a little tricky to get him just right, but with practice, you know. I just got this thing the day I'm recording this video, so I'm gonna have it pretty well off by the time this video is actually posted. Okay, where'd it go? There it is. Alright. But if you take He-Man, you could take this rubber band and you can fasten it around that little loop-de-loop thing there. Firmly plant He-Man on the saddle. There we go. Again, it is a bit tricky. It's a learning curve, but once you get it on there, I doubt he's going to go anywheres. Might be a little crooked, but nothing too bad. Just gotta fiddle with it a little bit. It's a bit finicky. Nothing's perfect, but bend that arm. There's He-Man. And then we'll give him his power sword. We'll just slide it through the back here. Kind of helps stabilize him a little teeny bit more. But there is old He-Man atop his mighty steed, Battle Cat. There you go. Looking pretty cool, man. I dig it. So with that being said, I'm actually going to take He-Man off here, and we're going to take a look. Some comparisons. First up, here is our Masterverse Battle Cat based off how he appears in MOTU Revelation next to the MOTU Origins Battleground Warriors 2-pack version of Battle Cat, which I think is the superior version, unless the Target reissue of the first release, which was first released in Walmart, of course, is a little bit better as far as quality goes, because right now this is the best Battle Cat we have as far as quality goes. Shout out to T-Biz once again for the hookup on this, but I figured I'd throw him in there because, again, I think it's the superior Battle Cat we have for Origins, unless that Target release, the first one, is just as good as this, because I'm not really into the battle damage. I just like the colors. But as you can see, next to the Revelation Battle Cat, this thing is absolutely dwarfed. Look at it. Is not, it's barely half the size. This thing's more than half the price, but I feel like two of these ain't one of these. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. I love my Origins Battle Cat, even the Loosey Goosey one, but there's just no comparison here. Up next, here he is, next to the Four Horsemen Studios Mythic Legions Aether Wave Balias, the only other steed in my collection that even comes close to comparing to this Battle Cat as far as size goes. This horse is absolutely gorgeous and massive, but I think you're still getting a fair deal for what you pay for the Battle Cat, and that's the original retail price, which was, I think, $45. And then Balias here was, I want to say $60, $65, around there. I don't think it was 55. That seems a bit low. But at any rate, I think for the extra, what, 20 bucks, you get more kind of detail and paint apps and whatnot. And I think a little bit better quality as far as the plastic goes. Battle Cat's no slouch, though. Don't get it twisted. I really, really think this Battle Cat was worth the 40 bucks it was originally priced at, just because of the size, and really the quality's not too shabby either, especially for this Masterverse line, which you guys know is hit or miss sometimes, so, you know, that's saying something right there. And last, but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus, okay, 11 Spawn, who, well, he may be a little bit taller. We'll give him that. He's definitely not as big as this Battle Cat here. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and if you haven't been able to guess it by now, I absolutely adore this figure. I think for the price it originally retailed for, and for the clearance prices I've seen him going for, this is an absolute must-have if you are a Masters fan. I think this is the best Battle Cat on the market. That is including the MOTU Classics one, even though people want way too much money for that. I get it. It's sculpted by the Horseman. It looks beautiful, but this one right here for the money, I think is the best one that money can buy right now. And you get Cringer on the side. Yeah, he's a bit large. I mean, I don't believe Cringer is supposed to be as big as Battle Cat, last I checked, but at the end of the day, you kind of get 2 in 1 here. And if you buy 2, because they are so cheap right now, you can have one as Battle Cat and one as Cringer for less than what this guy cost originally. At least if you get it for the 12 bucks I paid for it. So, of course, I'm going to recommend you try and get this guy ASAP if you don't already have him. He's definitely worth picking up, especially, again, for those clearance prices. It's kind of bonkers to see how cheap some of these figures are going for nowadays, these days, whatever you want to say. It's glorious. It's amazing. It's very nice feeling to pick up something this freaking cool for the price I did. And again, once again, shout out to the local friend who shall not be named for privacy reasons for hooking it up. Maybe he'll run across Triclops. I know some people are starting to find Triclops, and is it Stridor now? So fingers crossed, maybe your boy will wind up getting his hands on those eventually. We'll see. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Don't forget to comment, to like, and subscribe. And if you are so inclined, please hit that notification bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one, because we got to show that algorithm who's boss, right? And if you haven't already, hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is. And until next time, before I sign off, we are going to do a quick, fingers crossed, quick overview of Wave 1 of MOTU Revelation. So, hold on just one sec. And now that we have the whole gang here, we can do this thing properly. So, I decided that I'm not going to do a separate video kind of doing an overview of this whole wave. I thought about doing it originally, but I figured I'd just tack it on to the end of the Battle Cat review, just to kind of give you guys my final thoughts of this entire wave, because you guys know me, I like to do the overviews, saves you some time. So yeah, we're going to try and make this as short and sweet as possible, because this is tacked on to the end of a review. I don't want to take up too much of your time now, do I? But starting off, we have the first 2 figures I got from this line. Actually, the first figure I got from this line was Skelegod. Kind of the most disappointing figure out of this entire line so far. So loose in the ankles, makes him very unenjoyable. Other than that, he's fine. It's okay. The feet are just so unforgivably loose. That's not really acceptable at any price point. And given the fact that he was like $15 cheaper than this Battle Cat, I would expect him to be a little bit better, just because he is a deluxe figure. The Faker was awesome. The Skelegod, not so much. So it is what it is, I guess. And now we have the first two figures I got, the basic figures I got from this line, Mossman and Evelyn. I reviewed Mossman first, I believe. Cool figure, kind of useless effect part, and not really accessible hands. He's got grip hands with nothing to put in them. You guys know me. That drives me nuts. That's stupid and ridiculous. He should just add some fists. Or just give him his club instead of the vine effect part, which is cool in concept, but is just not very good as far as execution and quality goes. It's too loose. It's got to constantly be wrapped around something. And maybe you don't want to do that for a picture. Maybe you just want to have it shooting out, shooting towards the camera. Can't do that because it just droops down and brings the rest of the arm with it. Moving on from him, though, we have Evelyn. Not my favorite look for her at all, though it is a nice representation of what we got in part 1 of MOTU Revelation. I will say that figure has grown on me since I got Beastman and Tila and now the Andra to go with her. I don't have Andra yet, of course, but she is coming. So that's nice. It'll be nice to see maybe the God Lynn or the more classic looking Evelyn from the series. I think those would be a little bit better as far as an action figure goes, aesthetically. Because this design is just, it's how I feel when the MCU takes a character from Marvel Comics and they dull their design down so far that it's just uninteresting and unappealing to me. Case in point, the Eternals. So, I wouldn't say they did that to Evelyn here. Not too bad anyways, but she just seems very, very basic compared to a lot of the other figures in this line. And I don't really care for the skirt. It's accurate, but the way it kind of functions with the articulation is not really all that great looking. And then we have my favorite from this wave, yes, still, because I'm loyal to who I am loyal to. You guys know who I align myself to as far as MOTU goes. Skelet! Oh, that's right. Skeletor is still my favorite of this wave. I love Battle Cat. He's my second favorite. But Skeletor, I just like a more basic figure. That's a little bit easier to pose. Battle Cat just looks freaking awesome on display. Just look at him standing there with He-Man on his back there. But Skeletor, yeah, his armor's not perfect. I do think we are going to get some Skeletor armor in the near to distant future with that kind of, was it Barbarian Skeletor figure? That will work better on this figure. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that's the case. We can just swap it out. Because other than the fact that the armor doesn't really tab together, and it should, whether it's in the shoulders or that little skull and crossbones thing, I really like this figure. I like how the cape sits. I like how his head is very 2000X reminiscent, even though that's not accurate. I think we are going to get a better head sculpt for him with that Barbarian Skeletor. It does have the yellow face at least. So if that's your bag, you can definitely throw that on there. You have a more accurate looking Skeletor with the better armor. So, fingers crossed that figure comes out sooner rather than later, and we can kind of modify this figure we already got. And then we have He-Man. I actually like this He-Man. I don't know why everyone's dogging on him. The head sculpt's not the best, I guess, but I'm sure we'll get a He-Man head that's a little bit better soon. I think that Viking He-Man actually comes with a pretty decent He-Man head sculpt, so I might just throw that on here. Not sure if it's close enough to be Revelation, but it's probably better than this. I'd be lying if I said I was crazy about the expression on that head, but I don't think it's too bad. Other than that, I think you get enough accessories with him. It would be nice if we got two fists with him and Skeletor and whatnot. I'd say, if anything, the hands on He-Man and Skeletor are a little bit odd. That they gave him what they gave him. Much like Tila, she comes with two sets of hands, and really, you don't get two fists or two relaxed hands with her either. So, kind of weird that the main characters from this series, they didn't give the core hands to, but yeah, Mossman got grip hands he didn't need. Very, very strange. But I like that He-Man. I think it's a decent figure. It's not perfect, no, but I like it. It's alright. And then we have Battle Cat. We just reviewed him. If you missed it, well then you're crazy because you fast forwarded through the entire review. I love this figure. He's awesome. He's great. If you find him for even $28, which I think was the clearance price before, 12 is a no-brainer. Do not pass this guy up when he's super duper cheap like that. He is an amazing piece. Even if you don't like the Revelation series, this Battle Cat is undeniably freaking awesome. So, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Skeletor and Battle Cat, my two favorites. I think Battle Cat should have been on a lot more top 10 figures of the year list. That thing is absolutely fantastic, especially for what I paid. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review / overview of this entire wave and review of Battle Cat. And with that being said, until next time, I'll catch you guys later.